Tippy time my damies, Top Cat here and welcome back to the channel. Titans have got a lot of superior tools lately and have become some of the better DPS builds with exotics like the hazardous propulsion and the peacekeepers. With this kit though, I wanted three things: enough bolt charge to bust a nut, safety, and debuffs. There will be a dim link in the description down below, and make sure to stick through to the end as there is one weapon in particular I really want to show you. We start with a new aspect, Storm's Keep. We cast our class ability. It's going to grant us a moderate amount of bolt charge stacks to both us and nearby allies. And while standing behind said barricade, you and allies are going to gain stacks of bolt charge over time. And with our weapons, we're going to be able to discharge those at max stacks. If you just stood behind the shield and let them build up naturally, you'd get about 3.5 bolt charges, but with the right weapon combo, you could get upwards of 6 or 7 quite easily. Now, although rally barricades are a lot better than they used to be, because of all those buffs that barricades got, you know, like the taunt mechanic and the health increase, they are an option, but I've chosen to go with the Citan's Rampart's exotic gauntlets. This replaces a regular barricade with an assault barricade. Both you and allies can shoot through this. Bungo gave it a couple of buffs this season. They increased its health from 400 to 500. They removed that pesky barricade cooldown, and they no longer decrease the barricade duration. So this now lasts for 20 seconds just like a regular barricade. Now you're going to want to run that flashover mod in the artifact. A standard bolt charge hits for 14,475k, but whilst amplified is going to hit for 55.5k. Being amplified ain't hard at all, considering it's going to make us amplified whenever we hit those max stacks of bolt charge. Now no duh, you're going to want to equip the towering barricade. I've stated this many times and somehow peeps forget. I'm running Spark of Focus, so after sprinting for a short time, our class ability regeneration rate is increased. We sprint for about 1.5 seconds, we maintain it, and it's going to give us a 150% charge rate. I'm running one Focusing Strike mod. This is going to give us a 12% class ability gain for 7 seconds whenever we smack something with our fist. Knockout, it's not an Arc Titan without it. Whenever we critically wound a target or break their shields, it's going to infuse our melee attacks with Arc Energy. So this way, even our charged and not charged melees can fuel Focusing Strike, on top of feeding us more amplified and health back on kills. I'm rocking Distribution. It'll reduce all our ability cooldowns when using our class abilities near targets. We need to be within 15 meters of bad dudes. It's going to give us 4% energy to our grenade, melee, and class ability, and 2% to our super. We're running one Reaper mod. We pop a barricade, then our next weapon kill is going to give us an orb of power. We pick up said orb. With insulation, this reduces our class ability a further 4%, and with orbs of restoration, it's going to give us another 10%. This way we can cycle through and get those shields up as often as possible and keep dealing bolt charge damage as often as possible. I'm running Spark of Discharge, so our arc weapon final blows have a chance to create an ionic trace. Whenever we collect an ionic trace, this is going to give us class, melee, and grenade energy and a stack of bolt charge. I'm running Spark of Frequency. With melee hits, it'll increase our equipped weapons reload speed and stability for a short time, and whilst amplified, it's going to gain us increased stacks of bolt charge from all sources. This will essentially double the amount of stacks we earn. I'm currently hard crushing on that Lodestar seasonal trace rifle. I've always been a trace fan, and not requiring special ammo is a massive turn on. It does pulse like an old boy pissing instead of the usual constant stream, but it hits just as hard when aimed down sights. Its charm though comes from getting those precision hits. You build up that bar, long press and hip fire. This is going to jolt our targets, but the stream is going to hurt a little less. So there is some trade-off, but it is worth it. When it comes to picking weapons to pair with the Citans and Bolt Charge combo, the more contact we have with enemies, the faster it's going to charge it. So weapons like trace rifles are grand, and this obviously led to the conclusion that the divinity was going to be baller. When they dropped the debuff and raised the damage of the divinity so that the wielder can contribute to a damage phase, it's actually fairly strong now. On top of this, we've got that constant cage on them, so we're constantly building those bolt charges whilst helping out the squad at the same time. It used to be left to the solar well lock, but with that well meta being smashed, It's now up to all classes to contribute, and I think the Storm's Keeping Citan's combo works really well. The Darcy also got some really nice buffs to it. It's now like the sniper's equivalent to the Gjallarhorn, buffing sniper damage to our allies, jolting, and giving us some damage increases too. But no doubt the king of constant is the Anarchy Grenade Launcher. With this we can just double tap and swap to another weapon to do some monster DPS. But as our weapons aren't exclusively for boss damage, we run Sparker Beacons, whilst amplified, our special or heavy weapon final blows are going to create a blinding explosion. This makes it a lot easier to pick them off as they're rushing at our barricade. With us having overload LMGs this season, of course T-Lord is good, but I've been using the Song of Air Ute a bunch. It's got Sword Logic and Demolitionist on it. We run that overclock and load, so whilst amplified or have bolt charges, our LMGs gain increased handling and reload speed, and with Hold the Line, while surrounded, our machine guns are going to gain increased reload speed and stability, and final blows are going to heal us. Lastly, that Dielectric perk is going to help the beacons fragment, as by defeating arc debuff targets, this is going to grant us further bolt charges. But perhaps the best legendary weapon that you can use with this kit is that new Psychopomp Aerial Denial Frame GL. It's arc, so it sits in the energy frame. We've got a couple of variants of these now, but this is no doubt my favourite. One blast of this hits for 64k on a single target, doing damage over time. But most importantly, as it makes multiple contacts, it pretty much instantly gives you max stacks of bolt charge. With one shot of this, it's going to add another 55k with that bolt charge damage for every shot. I've been using the call in the top slot when it comes to running anything with champs in it. Solid anti-barrier, plus with unraveling orbs, we can pick up an orb of power. This is going to give us unraveling rounds. You get those particles all mixed up with those arc particles, and you got some frickin' nutty AoE. Top that up with the Horde Shuttle, and when we damage unraveled targets with a weapon, it's occasionally going to spawn us a Threadling. It's all gone Pete Tong. Now feel free to pause here for my mods, fragments and artifacts, but there will be a dim link in the description down below. I'm really vibing this kit. I think it's a great way for some more reserved titans to play. It's decent, safe and easy damage without button mashing beyond Oblivion to get it. And with those bosses' health bars just growing season after season, despite the divs nerfs, it's still a welcome tool in any fire team. But I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure to thumb it if you dug it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy tie my damies, what a tie.